Greetings and welcome to this very special episode of the University of the Universe. I'm your host, the Professor. Many of you are probably asking yourselves, what does astrology have to say about this phenomenon that's going on right now, the COVID-19 pandemic? And I wanted to weigh in on some of the questions people have been asking me. And a lot of these involve, what happened, how did this happen, what's the purpose, all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to delve into really what's going on astrologically. Now, astrology has some principles involved with it. The planets that are considered to be personal planets are the ones like the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Mars, Venus, etc. Then we get to the outer planets, which are considered to be transpersonal. These are Jupiter and Saturn. Okay, Jupiter represents the common good, all right, and Saturn represents what our limits and restrictions are as a society, our laws, our government, but also our advancements in terms of science and those sorts of issues. And then as we get past the transpersonal planets, we get into the transcendental planets. These are the ones that were discovered in recent history. Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, okay? And these represent sweeping generational concerns that often transcend our understanding, that we don't really know why they're happening, we don't really know the purpose for them, but they have a generational effect. And for a good amount of time, Pluto has been traveling through Capricorn. Now, Pluto is the planet of transformation. It's the planet of disruption. And what it does is, whatever sign it's in, it basically disrupts the order that's there and replaces it with a new order. But it takes a long time for this to happen, 22 years or so. And so this planet has been traveling through this sign for quite some time. And the question is, what does Capricorn represent? Well, Capricorn represents government, business, the institutions that have a public face. These are the companies we are a part of, the government organizations that we're a part of. And this structure that creates society is one in which we depend on. Okay? People will say things like cradle to grave. They've wanted the company, for instance, to take care of them cradle to grave. This has become disrupted heavily over time. Traditional retirement is something that people don't necessarily invest in anymore. Social Security is something that especially Generation X has kind of given up on. And so the promises and the contracts and the laws that have been set down to guarantee these social safety nets, if you will, are rapidly disappearing. But the other thing that this planet does is it disrupts the social order in very unexpected ways. And I think what you're seeing as a part of this coronavirus outbreak is this social disruption, the disruption of our public face. Now, 4 other planets have entered Capricorn recently. Jupiter is a planet that's not really well at home in the sign of Capricorn, and it's been traveling through there for the last few months. And what has this done? Well, it's disrupted our travel. It's disrupted our institutions. They've become, in some ways, overpowerful and overbearing. And as you can see, much of this has developed in the character of the quarantine practices and some of the practices that might seem a little like they're bordering on martial law. But I say up until recently these planets have been there. What's important is Saturn, which is the planet of restrictions and obstacles, is moving into Aquarius. Now, this is a good development. Aquarius is the sign of humanity itself. And as the sign of humanity itself, what it's really doing Is it saying, hey, we have these generational concerns right now. We need to take care of the human being as a species. And so the likelihood that this phenomenon will start to recede into the background is pretty good over the next few months, but not without it changing substantially some of the government institutions that we know and understand and consider to be unchanging. Also, the businesses that are out there that have been running for years and years and years, many of them may go under, okay? And we will be dependent to some degree on the government in the United States of America. But this forward push of science is going to aid us in understanding this virus and the truth surrounding it. Aquarius is not only the sign of science, but it's the sign of the truth. And Saturn entering that sign is what you call highly dignified. So, to kind of recap, what we're really looking at is what I call the difficult ally. These planets in Capricorn, and Capricorn representing those things that push us. Maybe you had a coach in high school who seemed to be kind of a jerk, but they were really, really dedicated to your success, and they pushed you, okay? That's what Capricorn is doing right now. And the planets that are in that sign are really, really pushing us in terms of understanding our public face, in terms of understanding our institutions, in terms of recreating and reestablishing new institutions for us to be a part of. And the sign of Aquarius pulling us out of those trends that are holding us down and holding us back. So I guess the moral of the story is, keep your chin up. Do the best you can. Nobody wants to be quarantined. Nobody wants to be at home, not pursuing the things they enjoy. But if you start to see this time as a confrontation for us to go within, look at the things that we value. What have we been doing wrong in society? I know for one of the big problems is that the middle class has pretty much been cut out. And whether or not the government takes this up as a torch is anybody's guess. But there is an important issue of healthcare that's out there, that it's been looming in the United States for quite some time. And I think that this is proof positive that people need universal healthcare. I think it's also proof positive that the average person out there simply doesn't make enough money to live. And these simple questions will have to be, the government's going to be forced to answer these in a way that's going to make sense for the United States and for the world. So understand that these are trying times, they're difficult times, but they're times in which we need to reflect and say, okay, what is my public face replacing my authenticity in society? Is my public face something I'm defining myself by? Is my job and my role something that's defining me? All over the place. I think the real key point is that we are not our roles, we are not our jobs, and ultimately we are who we declare ourselves to be. And this is the great creative message that has been passed down by all the avatars, that we create ourselves. And in so doing, we have to be able to adapt. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this kind of impromptu episode of the University of the Universe. Again, I'm the professor, and you'll be seeing more of these videos forthcoming in the next few weeks. And I invite you to go on and look at the other videos that I've posted. Many of them are instructional in character regarding astrology, and there are many horoscopes you can see that have been posted there regarding where we've been going. But where we're going right now is a place of survival, and one in which we are forced to unite as humanity. All right, thanks again, and stay safe out there. Bye now.